Noogaradio.com is our fantastically simple website where you just go and listen to us, please. You just go there, you type in Noogaradio.com, it starts playing when you get there, and then you get to listen to basically the best coverage of Chattanooga in the area, in my humble opinion. In my arrogant opinion, okay? It's not humble. It's not a humble opinion. I think my opinion is better than other people's opinions. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. Now, I have some things that popped up on my desk. I take my own notes. So I have some things that I found interesting while I was doing some research today. One is that I discovered that according to awfulannouncing.com, Les Miles might not be broadcasting after all, and I was very interested in the future of Les Miles when he was fired from LSU, because he was in large part fired because he is a defensive guy who couldn't ever figure out how to get an offensive guy onto his football team and to delegate an offense. And so there were a lot of things going on with Les Miles, and he played Gus Malzahn last year in the Doo-Doo Bowl to see who it was that was going to wind up being fired, and he lost the Doo-Doo Bowl, and it wound up being him. And so there was some talk that, okay, Les Miles, who still desires to coach and is still young enough to coach and is still a brilliant defensive guy, could come back and coach. And I think Les Miles wants to be a head coach. I don't think that Les Miles wants to show up and be someone else's D coordinator. He wants to be a head coach. And so that is everything that he's poured his entire life into, is being a head coach in some capacity. So he tried to go the Chip Kelly route, right? Like, okay, I lost my job. I need to get the stink of being fired off of me. The easiest and best way to do this is to be a broadcaster. You already understand the game for which you are talking about. You are recent enough that you understand all the developments of the game. You understand all the issues and challenges. You've got personal experience. You've got all of those things. And so you can, in effect, be a very brilliant, knowledgeable person, a great PR person for yourself, and then you're removed from being fired. You're removed from the stink of being removed from your position, and someone who is desperate enough for a coach, because outside of quarterback, it's the thing that people are most desperate for. They'll come find you. They'll try and give you a chance. They might try and hire you, and maybe you never coach at the heights of a Power 5 conference again. But maybe you coach at a very high level school. Like what Lane Kiffin is doing, I think, is smart at Florida Atlantic. He is coaching. He is the stink of how he left Alabama. It's rinsing off of him. And if he does a really good job at Florida Atlantic, Lane Kiffin will find himself in a Power 5 job again. You're Les Miles. You're in your 60s. Like, there's a chance for you to find yourself in a Power 5 job again. You're not so old that you can't make another comeback here. And I think that's what Les Miles wants. I just think he wants to do that in the fastest way possible, right? And people behave differently when they have options. Is that fair to say? People behave differently when they have options. You ever find it difficult to go back to stuff? You ever find that difficult? Like, one time they messed up my plane ticket, and I got to sit not in economy. I got to sit up front where the people who actually have money get to sit, and it was great. The food they give you is better than the food that they give you in coach. You get a bed chair. It's a bed and a chair. You're not sharing too much space with somebody else. You get to recline all the way back. You get a shutter to block out light. If you don't want the flight attendants talking to you and asking you if you like another thing, like, you can block out light. You don't have to try and figure out how to sit straight up and fall asleep without falling asleep on the person to the right of you, or leaning into the window, or just falling over into the aisle. Like, all that stuff is great. The problem is, if you can't afford to keep doing that, you don't have the options. Now you got to go back to coach. And let me tell you something about the move back to coach. It's not fun. It's not fun. If you had the option, you wouldn't do it. I used to drive cross country a lot because my family lives in Texas. I live here. And being a broke college student means I can't afford a plane ticket. It means I drive. right? Back to Texas, the 18 to 19 hours that ordeal is. And so I stopped at motels frequently. Let me tell you about the one time I stopped at a Holiday Inn and stayed in a hotel where the door didn't lead directly into the parking lot, where I got a free continental breakfast in the morning, blueberry muffins and waffles and eggs. You can't go back to a Super 8 after that. And I'm sure that there's a life beyond Holiday Inn. I'm sure that there's a life beyond Ramada. I am sure that there's a life beyond that. I'm telling you, this is the level that I'm at. I now have the options. I have a decent enough job now. I'm not a broke college student anymore. I have options to where I don't have to go back. Yo, I don't have to go back. I'm not going back. Right? I'm not going back. I have options. So Les Miles was going to go broadcasting because that was the only option he had, right? Like I said, it's great PR. You get to still be around the game. You get to talk football. It pays you, and you get to be removed from the stink of having been fired, especially the way that Les Miles got fired, because the way that Les Miles got fired is the single most bizarre firing situation. Well, no, we're in the SEC. The SEC has a multitude of great firing stories, but one of the most bizarre, because Les Miles was going to be fired, and then all the fans showed up and said, don't fire him, so they couldn't fire him because he was too popular. But then he started the next year, and he stank, so they said they were going to fire him, and then he loses the Doo-Doo Bowl to Gus Malzahn and Auburn, and then they fire him. Like, that entire timeline makes no sense, right? It's the single most bizarre thing that I think I've just experienced all the way through, and you're Les Miles, you want to be a year or two removed from that. That's what you want. You want a year or two away from whatever that was. So you had to go to broadcasting. Well, there were rumors that Les Miles was attached to the Ole Miss job after Hugh Freeze gets fired, that they might bring in Les Miles, that Les Miles might be the future of this. And it turned out not to be true, right? Like, there was a rumor. Well, I don't know that they were not talking to him, but there was a rumor that Les Miles was on Ole Miss's campus. He was in Oxford talking to them. That wound up being debunked, right? Like, that wound up being fake news. So Les Miles was not ever in that picture, but the idea that someone could be looking to Les Miles to be their head coach somewhere, if you're Les Miles, you'd rather strike out at the chance of coaching somewhere than broadcast. Because Les Miles is just, maybe this is just the way he likes to live his life. Like, maybe Les Miles just likes to live his life on a roller coaster. Because, of course, there wasn't, when he said he was broadcasting, there was no straight up broadcasting deal ever made. It was just more like Les Miles saying, hey, I'd like to broadcast. And so first he said he was going to broadcast specifically with somebody. And then he said, no, I'll be doing lots of broadcasting over multiple networks over the course of the college football season. And now he's saying he's not broadcasting at all. And that he is, in fact, going to be trying to find a head coaching job somewhere. I don't know what it is with Les Miles. Are you coaching or are you not coaching? Are you broadcasting or are you not broadcasting? But this is the flip-flopping of a man who had no options, right? He had exactly one option, and that's like having no options, okay? And then he went from having the one to having a couple of other options. And once you have a couple of other options, you don't go back to that world where you only had one option. You don't go back to that world where you only sleep in a Super 8 motel. You can now choose from a variety of better hotels where your hotel room doesn't lead out into the parking lot. It doesn't go straight into the street. Like, that has to be enticing. That absolutely has to be enticing if you're Les Miles, and Les Miles bought into it. Absolutely bought into it. I would too. If my only option was broadcasting, because, like, say whatever you want, but a lot of coaches don't want to be broadcasters. Like, they're not broadcasters on purpose. They're broadcasters because they can't coach anymore for whatever reason, right? Like, Chip Kelly is not being a broadcaster over at the 4-letter on purpose. Chip Kelly is over there to allow the stink of being run out of the NFL to wash off him. And then he's going to try and find some college football program that is good enough to have him, but open enough to him running the show. And they're going to let him show up, and he's going to run the show, and he's probably going to be great because Chip Kelly's a pretty brilliant guy. If Chip Kelly could just show up and start coaching immediately, he would. But he's going to wait for some jobs to open up. He's going to wait for a job that he likes. And he's going to take a job because he has options. He can choose. When you have options, your life is different. Chip Kelly is going to have more options a year from now than he does now. So he's broadcasting, right? When you become Lou Holtz, like Lou Holtz can't coach anymore. So he broadcasts, right? John Gruden has the option to come back to the NFL whenever he wants. He has been choosing broadcasting because it's comfy. You don't have to work as hard. It's not as stressful. You're not away from your wife all the time. You can choose broadcasting. There are people who choose it, but it's better to have that as an option than broadcasting is the only thing that you can do, because the only thing that I think of when I see your face is how tragically you got fired. Right? Like that's what you're usually running from when you're a coach running into a broadcasting job. Because I'll tell you something right now. I'm in broadcast. If I could coach, I would do that. That puts me even closer to the games that I love. But I can't coach. I don't understand the game on that level. I merely have opinions after the fact. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. So there was a story that I did not cover last week that I meant to, but we just didn't have time. We got into all the Hugh Freeze stuff. It was just blowing up every day. So that's starting to slow down a little bit. So we've got one with Cam Newton, right? We're jumping to the NFL right now because Cam Newton is a guy who is incredibly big, strong, and powerful. And what I know about physically big, strong, and powerful guys playing sports is that very often they get beaten up in a way that smaller guys don't get beaten up, because it looks like they can take the punishment. It doesn't look like they're being hurt as seriously as the smaller guys. Andrew Luck is a guy that has to suffer through this as well. So does Ben Roethlisberger. All guys that are typically just, oh, that dude's a mammoth. Yeah, he's going to take a level of punishment that maybe other quarterbacks do not take. And we're just going to be cool with it because it doesn't look like it's hurting him all that much. But what is it with Andrew Luck? Andrew Luck is perpetually injured. Ben Roethlisberger is always injured. Cam Newton is coming back from a shoulder injury, having shoulder surgery in the offseason. Andrew Luck also has had shoulder surgery in the offseason. Like, these guys are taking damage, whether it looks like it or not. But the Carolina Panthers are trying to adjust their offensive scheme as such that Cam Newton is going to be throwing more and running less, which I think is a smart move for Ron Rivera to make, because his job is connected directly to Cam Newton. You don't have Cam and that team stinks, you are out the door. Ron Rivera is not an idiot. He knows this. He knows his job is connected to Cam. Okay? And so he has said, we are going to scale things back for this guy. Cam disagrees. Cam does not want the offense scaled back. He doesn't want to run less and throw more. And Cam's been blasted for this. People have called him stupid. But Cam knows that the secret to Cam's own success is his ability to run. Right? Like, Cam's success comes from the fact that he is, despite the fact, enormous, incredibly fast, and incredibly elusive for how huge he is. Like, Cam is what? 6'6", 240, 245? Like, he's a giant. He is an actual giant. And yet, when Cam decides to run, he is impossible to tackle. He is hard to catch. And when you catch him, he's difficult to bring down. That has been his strength, which is exactly what he said. That's been my bread and butter my entire life. The thing that has separated me from other quarterbacks is not being able to dissect the defense from the pocket. It's not my arm strength, which is huge and important, but not what they know of me for. People drafted me number 1 in the NFL, the number 1 overall pick in his draft class, because he can run. Because when we were all sitting here in the SEC watching Cam torch the entire league, that was one of those things. Like, we talk about how great a defensive coach Les Miles is. The day after Thanksgiving, when Auburn played LSU, Cam Newton Cam Newton ran through LSU's defense like it was not there. He could not be stopped. And in that moment, I became a Cam fan. I watched this guy be impossible to slow down. It's ridiculous. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. That's why he was great. And so Cam realizes this, though I thought Cam's analogy made absolutely no sense, which is that, like he said, I'm a lion. You can't ask a lion not to roar. And it's like, no, you can't ask a lion not to roar, but this is not a lion roaring, because a lion roaring doesn't cause damage to the lion, right? The lion roaring doesn't shorten its ability to be a lion. Cam running shortens Cam's ability to be Cam, because every hit that Cam takes as he runs is more damage that Cam is taking, and shouldn't be taking any of that damage at all. And yeah, Ron Rivera, what do you say if you're Ron Rivera? Agree with Cam and then scale back the offense anyway, right? Like, no need to embarrass your quarterback, but also scale back the offense anyway, because your job's connected to him. Don't do what's in his best, what he wants. Do what you want. Do what's in your best interest. You're the leader. Okay, that's it. Ron Rivera, do whatever you want. Okay, I don't care if Cam's grumpy about it. What's he going to do? Not play? He himself just said you can't ask a lion not to roar. He's got to play football. That's his job. What, is he going to be a running quarterback and he's just not going to play? Drop him back there and make him pass. That's what you drafted Christian McCaffrey for. You drafted Christian McCaffrey, the young man out of Stanford University, because he is insanely good. Christian McCaffrey is so good. And the reports out of Panthers camp is that Christian McCaffrey is just tearing it up, which makes sense because that's all he was doing in college, was just tearing the Pac-12 to smithereens, right? Like last year was a down year for Christian McCaffrey, and he had a year that most running backs would envy. Okay, he's doing all the things that they brought him in for. They brought him in to be versatile. They brought him in to run. They brought him in to take all the hits that Cam was previously taking so that you don't have to run Cam Newton and have him take all of this damage anymore. And, you know, people are like, well, Cam's not smart enough to realize. Like, no, Cam's smart enough to realize this. But Cam also worries that what if I go back there and I start passing and I'm not great? Right? Like, Cam Newton's never been a guy that's completed upwards of 60%, over 60% of his passes. Right? Cam's always been right around 60. The best passers in the game are around, or the above average passers in the game tend to be around, 63, 64, 65%. And then the elite passers of the game are in the upper 60s, your Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady's and so forth. So you don't have a situation with Cam where the history of his accurate passing is already there. But I'm saying his percentage is going to go up. Cam will see with his own two eyes. His percentage is going to go up as the result of having Christian McCaffrey in the backfield with him, because that dude can just straight up ball. I don't know what else to say. Christian McCaffrey can just straight up play his heart out, and he is so fast, right? And I hate it when people are like, yeah, he's elusive enough, he's fast enough, he's quick enough. Christian McCaffrey has enough fast for most running backs in the league. Christian McCaffrey has enough fast with some more fast left over. He's not fast enough. He's super fast, right? We need to stop doing this thing where the guy is white, so we just perceive him to be moving slower. Christian McCaffrey ran an incredibly quick 40 time. What was it, like a 4.5 or 4.6 40? Like a low 4.6, high 4.5, 40-yard dash. Christian McCaffrey's fast, y'all. He's just fast. Like, at that point, that's not fast enough. That's just fast. You pair that with Cam Newton. You give Cam. So instead of Cam scrambling away and trying to pick up yards in that way, just pitch it out. Do the Phillip Rivers. Pitch it out to whoever your scat back is and let that guy do the work. Christian McCaffrey is more than fast enough. He's more than elusive enough. He's got moves. His parents are athletes. His mom's an Olympian. His dad used to be in the NFL. There is no reason to believe that Christian McCaffrey is in any way slow or what have you. Just let that guy carry the load that you were previously having. And you also find that you'll probably be in the mid-60s too. You'll probably be in the mid-60s. That's all I'm saying. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. The Ravens continue to search for a quarterback, and that makes a Colin Cowherd exciting. Probably close to inevitable. We'll discuss what's wrong with Steve Bisciotti next.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
If you've suffered a personal injury or a loved one was the victim of a wrongful death, give the lawyers at McCoon, Williams, Ashley, and Stanley a call. Our attorneys can help you or your business with a wide array of challenges to provide you with the highest quality legal services through the combination of our talents, experience, and expertise. If you're hit by business problems or need legal organization, we're here to help. Visit MWALawFirm.com. That's MWALawFirm.com. Give us a call at 423-756-6400. That's 756-6400.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect a few clouds out there through your nighttime. Not as mild, overnight lows 68 to 70. Some passing clouds, still mainly dry. Wednesday highs into the upper 80s. Can't rule out a spotty late day shower Thursday with showers and storms more likely Friday. Visit Office Depot and Office Max during their Taking Care of Back to School sale. Notebook filler paper only 1 cent with a $5 minimum purchase. Sale ends this Saturday at Office Depot and Office Max. And I'm Source 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ward on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. E.J. Pelton Company, 332-3339.
I have the best steak selection in town. Name of the business is Don's Meat Shop, and I'm Donnie Raines. Just ask for Donnie. I make over 20 different types of sausages. Most of them are great for grilling. We have the best selection, best quality. We have the hard-to-find items. Don's Meat Shop.
Hi, I'm David Crockett, and I'm here with David Tulis, and we're having a little discussion over who's the number one Nooga centrist. If you want to keep up with free market ideas, then read Nooganomics.com. David Tulis, the blogger with the biggest pen.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
You're listening to AM 1240, 92.7 FM. Clutch with Keon Rose is the show. Nooga Radio station. NoogaRadio.com is our fantastic website. You get to stream our shows live, and you also get access to our social media. I recommend clicking on that YouTube link. What it does is it takes you to our YouTube page, and our local shows are all recorded on YouTube. We've got a webcam in the studio, and you can watch live. You can check in live if you happen to be near a computer or whatever. It's great. You get to see what my ugly mug looks like and everything else. So, little bit of news that I thought was pretty nice. A nice gesture on behalf of the Chicago Cubbies. Steve Bartman will receive a World Series ring. Steve Bartman is the guy that basically caught a ball that was headed out into the outfield that essentially lost the Cubs. It wound up costing the Cubs a chance to go to the World Series, which, as you know, used to be a big deal. But now that the Cubs have won a World Series, it's not a big deal anymore. And so it's time to bring Steve Bartman back into the fold, because the Cubs and their fan base, I think, were so very strong, so very passionate about Steve Bartman. And a lot of it, he received a lot of threats, a lot of stuff that Steve Bartman really didn't deserve over a baseball game, if we're honest with you. And I understand the ramifications of him doing that and how long it makes it before the Cubs have another viable chance at a World Series, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I remember being a kid when that happened and thinking to myself, what an idiot, right? Like, I was not on the side of Steve Bartman. I was on the side of the angry fans, because I was just like, you obviously shouldn't be catching the ball in that situation. Like, situationally as a fan. But also, you're at the game and the ball's flying your way and it's a reflex and you want to be part of the game. That's what being a fan is about. So I've come around on that. But I remember at the time going, what a clown. And yeah, I thought this was a nice move on behalf of the Cubs to give him a World Series ring. And I thought it was a nice move for Steve Bartman to accept it, because apparently the Cubs have reached out to Steve Bartman in the past and tried to bury the hatchet, and he's declined and he's declined. And I think this has got to be dead now, right? Like, you've got to finally put that to bed. So I'm glad that chapter in Cubs history is over. It's a sad, silly chapter where a guy had received death threats. And I don't know that Steve Bartman could have gone back to a Cubs game even if he wanted to, because he probably would have just been killed in the parking lot. That's how strongly people felt about it. But, in light of the World Series victory and that sort of now becoming ancient history, I can't imagine Steve Bartman wouldn't be welcome back. Nobody deserves what he had to go through with what it was worth, right? Like, it's a baseball game. Sports are important, but sports aren't that important where once you start threatening people's lives, you've gone too far. You've gone way, way, way too far. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. So the Ravens are circling Colin Kaepernick because they don't seem to have a choice. And why not, right? And it's funny because I like to listen to the Ben Shapiro show. He's a conservative podcaster. I think he's smart. I don't always agree with him, but I think he's a smart dude. And when it comes to explaining the conservative mindset on a lot of things, I think he does a very good job without not being ridiculous. He is logical, very logical. He talks way too fast, and he should probably, slow down a little bit so that he doesn't end up having to swallow mid-sentence into the mic. That's kind of annoying, but he's very smart and very good. But he was talking about the whole Colin Kaepernick situation, and Colin Kaepernick's not been good at his job, and there were all those stats about how people are turned off by the protesting, which I just think I don't know. I didn't like the sample size of the survey. I didn't like that they put on a bunch of they put on 4 options for people to choose from, rather than what turned you off from the NFL this year. If you had people write in what turned them off from the NFL, I almost guarantee you Colin Kaepernick is not one of the top answers. Instead, he ended up being closer to 24 or 25% in the survey. And I just don't think that plays as big a factor among football fans. Like, people are like, yeah, I'm going to pass up this quarterback that could potentially help my team because, I'm turned off from his political opinions and his protests. Like, I just don't know NFL fans to be that way, because NFL fans have justified wife beaters, and they have justified rapists on their team, and they have justified all manner of human beings who can make their team better. So I don't know why suddenly this is the line that we have decided to draw in the sand, but nevertheless, here we are. And Colin Kaepernick finds himself without a football team, with guys who I think are worse football players than he is being signed to football teams. Now, I don't know that Colin Kaepernick is worth the headache of trying to bring him in as a starter. He wasn't a good starter. But that being said, Colin Kaepernick is a good backup. Colin Kaepernick is a good backup for your team. And what the Ravens are finding out is that the guy that they had at backup is trash, right? Ryan Mallett is their backup. And Ryan Mallett the other day in camp threw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interceptions in training camp. Oh, this is not your defense coming out trying to be a bunch of killers. You're not throwing against the best defenses in the league. You're not throwing against the Patriots and the Seahawks. You are throwing against the Baltimore Ravens defense in training camp. And by the way, the offense is supposed to win training camp. I mean, the offense is supposed to win training camp. Like, there's no other way to say that. I've watched enough training camps now. This thing is designed for the offense to win. The defense can't really tackle. The defense can't really hit anybody. Even if they were to intercept a pass or whatever, they can't really run it back. Like, everything is designed to make the offense feel good, look good, run smoothly, build up their confidence, and so on. You're not trying to demoralize your offense. So for Ryan Mallett to throw 5 interceptions in a training camp session, that's horrible. That's terrible. Okay? Like, you could find somebody off the street who might do a better job, maybe. But when it comes to the fact that Joe Flacco has injured his back, the Ravens say he should be back by week 1, but we don't know how these things work with backs. Your back and your brain are the 2 things that you only have the one of that can't really be replaced. We don't know how it's going to go down with Joe Flacco's back. And so the prospect of starting your NFL season with Ryan Mallett, I would think should be sufficiently terrifying enough that you would run to Colin Kaepernick before you dreamed of starting Ryan Mallett, or the dude that they signed that was selling insurance and they brought him in, and dude had -1 passing yards in college, which is, that's the guy that was brought in before Colin Kaepernick ended up being brought in. And I'm just saying, look, Kaepernick wants to come in. He wants to prove himself. He's going to have some opportunities to start probably in the absence of Flacco. Plus, in your very tough division, right? The AFC North is a very tough division. You've got the Steelers in there. You're going to want to try and hang around with them. The Bengals at any point could contend. You're not going to want to be the team that falls behind in the AFC North. I can't imagine you don't bring Kaepernick in. Maybe Kaepernick wins you. Say Flacco misses 4 games. If Kaepernick wins you 2, you're hanging around in the division. Because I can guarantee you something. I don't think Ryan Mallett wins you any games. I think he wins you 0 games. Cap might win you 1 or 2. And if that's the case, it would be worth the trouble to bring him in. Because what are we talking about, what Colin Kaepernick did? Colin Kaepernick did not stand for the national anthem. Now, at first he sat down, which a lot of people said, look, that's disrespectful for you to not stand. So he knelt, right? Like there's the compromise there that, yes, I still have a protest I would like to make, but rather than sit, which is disrespectful, I agree with that. Rather than sit, he knelt to say, hey, look, I acknowledge, because the national anthem has become symbolically attached to the U.S. military and symbolically attached to the troops, even though, you know, it's all of our anthem. We're all Americans here. We all live under the Star-Spangled Banner, but regardless, it's been attached to the troops. And so if that's going to be the case, then Colin Kaepernick cannot just sit down during that. So the kneeling is to acknowledge that there are people here that have done something bigger than me, and I want to respect them, but I also want to go forward with my protest while letting everybody know that the troops are not the people that I am protesting, right? I am protesting other things. And there is nowhere that he is contractually obligated not to do that. There's no rule in the NFL rulebook that says that you cannot do that. So he hasn't done anything wrong. He has committed no crimes. He hasn't gone to jail. He hasn't beaten up a woman. He hasn't done any of the things that we let people get away with all the time, okay? All the time. And now you've got Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti coming out and saying basically we're going to talk to sponsors and we're going to talk to fans, which when last I checked are not people that make football decisions. And I bristle at the idea of asking fans anything ever. Fans don't know anything. Okay. And I say this as a fan. I'm not saying this as some guy who's lording it over people. I say this as a fan. We don't know anything. We don't know anything. Here's what fans know. They know when something's good. They don't know how to make a thing good. They don't know how to get there. They just know when something is good. Fans knew that the iPod was good, but they couldn't have told you how to get there. And before the iPod was created, they couldn't have told you that that's what they wanted. Right? The idea of the all-in-one printer is massively convenient for people who must print and also fax and also copy. But people couldn't have told you that that's what they wanted before it got invented. You don't ask fans what they want. You give them stuff and they tell you if they like it. You don't ask them if they want Colin Kaepernick, because I tell you what, you put Colin Kaepernick out on that football field and he starts winning a few games, the sponsors don't go anywhere, the fans don't go anywhere. They don't. I bristle very strongly at the idea of asking a group of fans anything. Fans can't choose an all-star game correctly, and the all-star game is a game that we all can agree has zero meaning. None. We can't even choose that correctly. Right? We can't choose the all-star game correctly. We are voting in, Yao Ming, who's not even in the league. Jeremy Lin has a chance to make an all-star game. Like, people have no business smelling an all-star game get into all-star games. Fans don't know anything. This is why when a TV show is good, it's good before they know who their fan base is. First, you make the show, then the fans find you. But then once the fans find you, then fans do the thing that they do where they believe that they have input, and they're going to start talking about, well, I like this storyline better, and you should have him date her. And they don't know what they want. Fans don't know how to make a TV show, because if fans could make a TV show, they'd make a TV show. They don't know anything. You can't ask fans anything about this, because fans don't know anything about football, and fans don't know anything about social issues in this way. They don't. As probably noted by the just lack of sophistication of the dialogue surrounding any of this stuff. We don't know what we're talking about. If you think Kaepernick is a good start for your team, if you think he can help your squad, if you yourself are not repulsed by what it is that he has done, sign him. Stop worrying about the fans and what the fans think. The fans will get over it if the dude wins. Right? Like Floyd Mayweather was been alleged to have been involved in multiple domestic abuse situations with his ex-wife, continues to act in a way that is bizarre and wild, right? He's bringing money onto the stage and throwing it around. He's bringing just randomly large checks. He's using homophobic slurs. You know why? Because Floyd Mayweather's not asking fans what they think. He's going out there. He's being Floyd. He doesn't lose, and the fans find him. The fans, for what the Ravens would be if they signed Colin Kaepernick, will find them. Right? Because first off, think about where they are. They're in Baltimore. They're in Baltimore, a city where, and I know Chattanooga has some issues with police, but we are nothing compared to Baltimore when it comes to the relations between police and citizens. Okay, because Baltimore had the whole Eric Gray situation where they had Eric Gray tried to put him in a car, and dude ended up having his spine snapped. So we're talking about a city that struggles with police-citizen relations anyway. The fans that appreciate Colin Kaepernick and appreciate what he would do, and the sponsors that would appreciate what that would symbolically mean, will find you. You don't ask them. The hell do they know? Nothing. Nothing at all. Fans don't know anything about anything. That is a promise. We only know what we like. This is the thing that is the most ultimate thing about fans, the truest thing about fans. We only know what we like. We don't know how to make it. We don't know how to make a cool thing, right? Like, people complain about stuff all the time because we know how to complain. We know how to criticize. We know how to critique. That's my job in the media. I'm very good at critiquing, right? Because I'm able to tell you what I like and what I don't like, and I'm able to use enough words and be smart enough, I hope, and be interesting enough, I hope, to explain to you why you should feel the same. But no football team, no coach, no player, no director of movies, no singer-songwriter should ever consult me on what I want to hear, because I don't know. I know what I like when I hear it, but they should never consult me. They should never consult you. They shouldn't consult any of us, right? If you are a gigantic fan of Blake Shelton, he should not ever consult you on what you want to hear in a country song, ever. Do you know why? Because he knows music and you don't. If you knew how to make a good country song, you'd just make country music. The idea that you would ever consult the fans is so alarming to me. Like, never in my life have I ever heard someone say that. And the only places where I've heard someone say that, there's an arena football league they're trying to sign Greg Hardy. I actually don't know if they did or not, but I know earlier in the summer they were considering signing Greg Hardy. And Greg Hardy, among other things, is accused of having choked his ex-girlfriend on a pile of guns, which is already a weird sentence to ever have uttered, right? But he abused her. I saw the police photos. They're brutal. The Cowboys signed him. They should never have done that. And then this Arena Football League is signing him or thinking about signing him, and they said, we're going to poll our fans. But the fans own the team, right? The fans are the shareholders of the team. So yeah, polling the fans there makes sense. The fans are also the owners. But Steve Bisciotti owns the Ravens. John Harbaugh coaches the Ravens. If they want Cap, sign Cap. If they don't, then don't. Don't consult people who don't have any idea how the process works, what makes sense. They don't know. They don't know. The whole point of you is that you know and they don't. If they could own a football team, they'd own a football team. If they could coach a football team, if they could be the general manager of a football team, they'd do it already. I don't consult anybody on what to do with this radio show. There's only one person who ought to be telling me what to talk about. That's my boss, and he doesn't. Lets me run wild, amazingly. He doesn't tell me what to talk about. But that's the only person. But he wouldn't be talking to me as a fan of the show. He would be talking to me as a person who has experience in radio, who could tell me what's wrong, what's right, what makes sense. Maybe focus in more on local. Maybe talk about high school. Like, get into this. That's the kind of stuff that your boss is there for. That your fans may want that, but you wouldn't consult the fans about it. Why? Because if the fans could make a quality radio show every single day, they'd do it. If people listening to the radio, because I hesitate to call people fans. I don't know about all that. But I'm just saying, if you're listening to the radio, if you're listening to me right now, if you could do what I would do, you would do it. If you wanted to. So no, I have no reason to consult you about it ever. The people who like what this is will find it. And the people who don't won't. And then ultimately, whether or not there's enough traffic involved in that will determine whether or not I continue to have a job. That's how this goes, right? Like, don't ask the sponsors on the front end. The sponsors don't really care. The sponsors are worried that the fans are worried. And the fans don't know that they'll be worried until Colin plays. And then if he wins football games, as is always the case in sports, as is always the case in any athletic anything always, Cap, if he wins, will be, quote unquote, forgiven for whatever it is that people think that he has done. It can be overlooked, especially since he said he's not kneeling this season. His point was made. He's done. People will be able to get past it. If you're the Ravens and Colin Kaepernick comes to your team and plays and you start off 4-0 because you have a legitimate actual quarterback under center and not Ryan bleeping Mallett, if you've got that, then yeah, you will forgive it. Watch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. E.J. Pelton Company, 332-3339.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
This is Thomas DeMoss with Keller Williams Realty. I am a realtor in Chattanooga. We list and sell homes, work with buyers, work with home sellers. I have been involved in real estate for over 10 years. My background is as a real estate investor. That is what I bring to the table, is that real estate investor mindset. My job is to help you sell your house for the most money, employing the best marketing strategy and walking you through what can be a rather stressful process. So we are encouraging people who are on the fence or even thought about selling their house to give us a call. There's no obligation. We're just here to kind of have a conversation, let people know what the process is like, what the market is like, what values they can expect to receive. We work with buyers as well. I also have a buyer's agent that works exclusively with my buyers because we want to give our clients as much attention as we can. My cell phone number is 423-364-0028. Our website is northriverpropertygroup.com. That's northriverpropertygroup.com. We'd love for you guys to call us.
And now to our reporter in the field.
We asked Ray at Ray's Plumbing what's important for homeowners to know.
Some field line systems can cost upwards of $10,000. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road. I would definitely recommend everybody with a septic that is not on county or city sewer to have an inspection done by a qualified professional. It'd be great if nobody did inspections on them for all plumbing companies. That's what we do to make a living. Not to scare anyone, but it should be in the back of your mind. The danger is the field lines failing and costing thousands upon thousands of dollars and tearing your yard up. By preventative maintenance, you're saving yourself a large headache that may displace yourself and your family. That happens more often than you think. The waste is designed to stay in the tank, and that waste will build up over time. Even with treatment, we have to help that waste break down. Ultimately, preventative maintenance is the key that will keep you from spending $5,000 to $10,000 on replacing your septic system. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road.
Call Ray at Ray's Plumbing, 421-6341, 421-6341.
My name is Trevor Atchley. I'm an attorney here with the law firm McCoon, Williams, Atchley, and Stanley. We have a show on Nooga Radio called Legal Bites, where we discuss legal topics of interest to our listeners: estate planning, business formation, and business transactions. Legal Bites, 11 a.m. on Wednesday.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
Hi, this is Nadia behind the green door. You've had ice cream and you've had shaved ice, but have you had snow cream? It is amazing. It's light, airy, fruity snowflakes melting on your tongue. You need to come and see us. Highway 58, green door next to Hardee's.
Does your business have enough clients? Are you confused about how to stand out in today's saturated social media market? Do you feel lost trying to navigate the maze of marketing channels which are necessary in today's marketplace? Are you fed up with spending your time and money on employees who don't perform and marketing strategies that don't produce? Then you need Cindy's Choice. Cindy will solve your marketing problems with their innovative shared marketing management concept that will allow your business to have the benefits of a full-time employee that is actually out building relationships in the community on behalf of your brand. Cindy's low monthly rate includes advertising, employee management, public relations, and creative marketing strategies that produce. Cindy can bring this all to you at a rate lower than most advertising campaigns and for much less than the cost of hiring a marketing employee. Cindy's Choice is your trusted source, and Cindy will manage it all for you.
Hi, I'm Cindy. I focus on the prospect so you can focus on the project. Call me at 423-661-4445. That's 423-661-4445. So you can become Cindy's Choice.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree? Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM, and 95.3 HD4. News, talk, sports. Nooga Radio.
Charge! tawny coats. I'm up north. Gonna burn my boots. They touched Yankee soil. Lay down your arms and step forward, Yankee.
What's the hassle, schmassel?
My orders from General Lee is to hold the Macy-Dixie line, and no Yankees are crossing it.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
If you've suffered a personal injury or a loved one was the victim of a wrongful death, give the lawyers at McCoon, Williams, Ashley, and Stanley a call. Our attorneys can help you or your business with a wide array of challenges to provide you with the highest quality legal services through the combination of our talents, experience, and expertise. If you're hit by business problems or need legal organization, we're here to help. Visit MWALawFirm.com. That's MWALawFirm.com. Give us a call at 423-756-6400. That's 756-6400.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect a few clouds out there through your nighttime. Not as mild, overnight lows 68 to 70. Now for your midweek, some passing clouds, still mainly dry. Wednesday highs into the upper 80s. Can't rule out a spotty late day shower Thursday with showers and storms more likely Friday. Visit Office Depot and Office Max during their Taking Care of Back to School sale. Notebook filler paper only 1 cent with a $5 minimum purchase. Sale ends this Saturday at
WBLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga, WSDG Saudi Daisy Chattanooga.
President Trump did have a hand in the misleading explanation of his son's Trump Tower meeting with Russians.
The president helped craft it.
There's no inaccuracy in the statement.
Christopher Wray wins Senate approval to head the FBI.
I commit to working with him to support the FBI.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Pam Coulter. The White House continues to insist there is no there when it comes to alleged Trump campaign collusion with Russia. But spokeswoman Sarah Sanders acknowledges that President Trump helped craft the statement that said his son's meeting with Russians was about adoption rather than gathering dirt on Hillary Clinton.
The president weighed in as any father would based on the limited information that he had. This is all discussion, frankly, of no consequence.
The White House is also denying allegations that it colluded with Fox News to push a story designed to take the heat off the Russia investigation. CBS's Stephen Portnoy.
Former Detective Rod Wheeler, hired to dig into the murder of DNC staffer Seth Rich, says he was paid by a wealthy GOP donor. In a federal lawsuit, Wheeler alleges the financier pressed him to say that Seth Rich had been in touch with WikiLeaks before his death. Wheeler says he and the donor met here with Sean Spicer before Fox's story first ran, and that the president saw a draft and wanted it published. Wheeler's lawsuit points to this voicemail that he says was left by donor Ed Butowski.
We have the full attention of the White House.
Fox retracted the story the following week. Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, the White House.
The FBI has a new director.
On this nomination, the yeas are 92, the nays are 5. The nomination is confirmed.
Chris Wray has bipartisan support to take over the job at what Senate Judiciary Chair Chuck Grassley calls a crucial moment for the nation. President Trump suggests he might stop payments to insurers to help kill Obamacare, but California Insurance Commissioner Dave Jones has a warning.
If President Trump continues to insist on not making the cost-sharing reduction payments, then I will sue the administration on behalf of consumers in the state of California.
Officials say some premiums in the state could double if Mr. Trump follows through with this threat. The Dow closed at a record high for the 5th day in a row. CBS's Jim Axelrod.
We would give the stock market probably an A right now.
But Joe Zeidel with Richard Bernstein Advisors points out the markets reflect not politics, but profits. and corporate profits have been climbing steadily.
And I think the biggest mistake that people make is they confuse companies with the economy.
The stock market's grading out at an A. How's the economy grading out?
Not as strong.
The Dow rose 72 points today. NASDAQ was up 15. Now this.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year...
This is a court-ordered notice. Current and former BMW, Mazda, Subaru, and Toyota owners or lessees can receive payments and other benefits from a legal settlement related to allegedly defective Takata airbags in their vehicles. To see if your vehicle is included and to file a claim, go to autoairbagsettlement.com or call 1-888-735-5596. That's autoairbagsettlement.com or 1-888-735-5596.
Defeated on health care, Senate Republicans are now eyeing tax reform. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
What we intend to do is to take up tax reform when we come back after Labor Day.
Democratic Leader Chuck Schumer.
We believe any tax package should not increase taxes on the middle class and should not cut taxes for those in the top 1%.
The power outage that's foiled vacation plans and hurt businesses on North Carolina's Outer Banks won't end anytime soon. CBS's Jim Krasula has the latest.
The Outer Banks utility company says it will still take up to a week and a half to fully restore all of the power on Hatteras and Ocracoke Islands. Tens of thousands of tourists were sent home after a construction crew cut the main electrical transmission cables to the islands last Thursday.
You're listening to the CBS World News Roundup.
If you've suffered a personal injury or a loved one was the victim of a wrongful death, give the lawyers at McCoon, Williams, Ashley, and Stanley a call. Our attorneys can help you or your business with a wide array of challenges to provide you with the highest quality legal services through the combination of our talents, experience, and expertise. If you're hit by business problems or need legal organization, we're here to help. Visit MWALawFirm.com. That's MWALawFirm.com. Give us a call at 423-756-6400. That's 756-6400.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect a few clouds out there through your nighttime. Not as mild, overnight lows 68 to 70. Now for your midweek, some passing clouds, still mainly dry Wednesday highs into the upper 80s. Can't rule out a spotty late day shower Thursday with showers and storms more likely Friday. Visit Office Depot and Office Max during their Taking Care of Back to School sale. Notebook filler paper only 1 cent with a $5 minimum purchase. Sale ends this Saturday at Office Depot and Office Max. And I'm Source 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare on Nooga Radio AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Now, me being a radio guy, I'm really not good with vehicles. Never changed my own oil, can barely change a tire. And sometimes when I hear a clanking, I just turn the radio up louder. Not a real good idea. So I need to be able to trust someone when they look at my vehicle. Well, I found the guys. Locally owned and operated here in Chattanooga. It's Precision Tune Auto Care. They're your neighbors. There's 3 locations in Chattanooga. And since they're Nooga Radio's official oil change center, they're going to extend the great deal they give to us to you. Just $20 for a standard oil change. Can you imagine that? $20 for a standard oil change. You're in and out in no time. $20 for a standard oil change at Precision Tune Auto Care. And they treat all of their customers like family. With show and tell, they'll show you what's wrong, point out the problems, and tell you exactly what it will take to get fixed. They really do have pride in what they do at Precision Tune Auto Care. Precision Tune Auto Care with 3 locations. 2125 Gun Barrel Road, Chattanooga, 4221 Hickson Pike, and Highway 58 next to Dunkin' Donuts. Call 602-5955. That's 602-5955. Precision Tune Auto Care.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree. Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM, and 95.3 HD4. News, talk, sports. Nooga Radio.
Or call 1-888-735-5596. That's AutoAirbagSettlement.com or 1-888-735-5596.
Hello, Chattanooga. You're listening
Florida
to
is reporting its
40
first sexually transmitted case of Zika this year, while a study shows one way you can't catch it.
The Zika virus can linger in breast milk and semen for months. It stays in an infected person's blood and saliva for up to 2 weeks. But now researchers at the University of Wisconsin say it can't be spread by casual contact like kissing or sharing a fork or spoon, among other things. It appears the antimicrobial properties of saliva itself help keep Zika levels low. Vicki Barker.
Hello, Chattanooga. You're listening to AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Clutch with Keon Rose is the show. Nooga Radio Station, NoogaRadio.com is our website where you can get access to our social media and our programming. Quickly, I want to talk about Les Miles and his broadcasting life. Is Les Miles actually going to be a broadcaster? Honestly, he said he's not broadcasting after all. That's sort of where we wound up being, because, of course, nothing can be straightforward with Les Miles. Absolutely nothing can be straightforward with Les Miles, which, you know, man's nickname was the Mad Hatter once upon a time, so I suppose that's not crazy. But Les Miles wanted to be a broadcaster originally. That's what he said. He was going to be a broadcaster, and then, you know, opened it up and said he was going to be a broadcaster across multiple networks, which makes sense if you're Les Miles, because what broadcasting gives you the opportunity to do, there's so many upsides. This is the reason why you see a lot of coaches do broadcasting. There's so many upsides to doing broadcasting. It allows you to have your name still very much in the mix and in the public forum. It allows you to display your knowledge of the game. It allows you to be close to the game that you love. It allows you to do so in an environment that is simply not as stressful as being a football coach, where you could be fired seemingly at any second over poor decisions that you happen to be making. All of these things. And it's not a replacement for coaching football, right? If you love coaching football, you would not for 1 second give up coaching football to be a broadcaster. However, if you don't have the options, you might, right? Like, if you don't have the options, you might broadcast until you could coach again. And this is where Les Miles was, that he had the option to, well, he was going to be broadcasting, and then someone gave him the option to possibly coach again, whether that was Ole Miss or somebody else. So there was a discussion going on about Les Miles returning to college football as somebody's coach, right? Ole Miss wouldn't have been a good fit in a good situation anyhow, but there was rumors that there was talks there, right? The rumor that he was at Oxford on campus to be interviewed, that's fake, right? Like that we talked about that wound up not being true. But the fact that he was discussing returning to coaching, no, that's very true. And he is in a position where if the possibility remains open that he could be coaching, you're Les Miles, maybe you feel like you've gained another option. You've gained another option besides broadcasting, which you would rather not do. Now, that being said, I don't think Les Miles has all the options that he thinks he has, right? Like, for me, I told you about the one time I was able to be up front in an airplane for once in my life, in first class. And then my behind had to go back to coach. And the reason why it hurt so much is because my brain viewed first class as an option that we have now. But it's not a permanent option. It's not an option that we have. The only reason why I was in first class is because they messed up my ticket and sent me there as a courtesy. There was a spot open. There was something up with my seat and my ticket, and it all was going to get out of hand, but they were just like, yeah, you know what, just go into first class. We have an opening up there, just go. And so I was able to enjoy first class life without earning first class. And my brain saw that as an option. So the next time I had to fly, and I had to fly coach because that's what I could afford, you know, it hurt. It stung. The reason why Les Miles is now not broadcasting, I believe, is because Les Miles believes that coaching is an option still. And I don't think he has realistically looked at this and thought, you know what, I'm going to have to just take the L, go broadcast. I may not want to, but let me just do it. Because it'll only be for one season, probably. Like if a school were considering Les Miles in an opening, it would have to be sometime next season anyway. Les Miles does not have the realistic option of bumping some coach out of their spot now that we are this close to the season, right? That's what made the entire Hugh Freeze situation so inconvenient for Ole Miss, is that you have a guy, he's entrenched as your head coach, and then you've got to go remove him for reasons that are not football related. Like Les Miles is not coming into any other job that isn't that. And they don't want to double down on Les Miles when you've got a year to think about it. You're already not playing for a postseason. You're not playing for any of the bowl games. Go ahead and just push through it. Just go ahead and push through this season and look next year. Les Miles needs to realize he doesn't have the options. Go broadcast. Wash the stink of being fired off of yourself and just go broadcast. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. So let's just jump to the NBA for a little bit, because there's a couple of things that I did want to talk about. One is the Kyrie Irving thing continues. There's a real possibility, according to many NBA sources, that Kyrie Irving could find himself in Phoenix. The Phoenix Suns are very hesitant to give up Josh Jackson, the number 4 overall pick in the draft that they've taken. They like the guy. I watched some of his summer league games. He's dynamic. He's electric. He is a great defender. He's long. He's fast. But what I don't necessarily like about Josh Jackson is that the dude can't shoot. And in today's NBA, the dude that can't shoot is a problem. That being said, you could always teach a guy to shoot. If Josh Jackson could shoot, then the Phoenix Suns believe that they have a guy who has the potential to turn into a Kawhi Leonard type of dude, that you could rely on him for some kind of offense. And then defensively, what he gives you with just sheer physical, freaky athletic abilities is worth the trouble of having to teach that guy how to shoot. Now, not everybody has that Spurs shooting coach that just, he works with you and then all of a sudden you are just a three-point shooting genius. But that being said, Josh Jackson's young enough that it's worth it to take the risk and see if you can't get him to acquire those skills. And that's why they're so hesitant to give up Josh Jackson. Some people believe it's a no-brainer that you give up Josh Jackson for Kyrie Irving. But having Kyrie Irving as the number 1 dude on your team does not guarantee victories. And I think the Suns see this, they know this, and they're just trying to build something from the ground up. They've got Devin Booker on that squad already, so you've already got a guy that can get to the basket, who can score in droves. He scored 70 points in a game last year. He's good. He's good. The question is, what is it worth to get Kyrie Irving? Because the Cavs don't want nothing, and they're giving you Kyrie Irving with 2 years of Kyrie Irving. So this is not a 1-year rental. So they believe that they ought to get something back, right? Like, this is not one of those situations where the Pacers are giving away Paul George for Victor Oladipo and some Tic Tacs. Right? You're getting you want something of actual value back because you are giving something of actual value away. The last year of Paul George, when you know he doesn't want to come back to your team, is not really a valuable asset. So the Cavs want something. The reason why the Cavs can't work out this deal with New York to send Carmelo to the Cavs is that Carmelo now doesn't want any part of the Cleveland situation. We were just talking about Les Miles and options, but Carmelo Anthony is a guy whose options just went from he's having no options, right? Like, Carmelo Anthony during the season said that he'd love to play for Cleveland, right? He said this before the trade deadline because he was hoping to be traded to Cleveland. If they were going to go ahead and trade him, that's what he wanted. He wanted to go ahead to Cleveland and try and see if he could find himself there. And that's because he had no options. Now that Cleveland looks like a dumpster fire, LeBron may be leaving, Kyrie wants out. Like, look, like Carmelo, the last thing that he wants is to wind up in Cleveland with just 1 year of LeBron, many years on his contract, and now he's stuck in Cleveland. Nobody wants that. None at all. Carmelo doesn't want that. So Carmelo, now that Phil Jackson is gone, has found himself with options. And the option that he has is that he could go to Houston. He could still play for a team that may compete for a title. He might play with one of his buddies in Chris Paul, play with another great NBA player, James Harden, and play on a roster that they've got a pretty solid bench. They've got good supporting cast and role players. Like that might wind up being a team, if they could learn to work together, that is a very, very good basketball team, and you don't feel like you're stuck if you go there, right? Chris Paul on a 1 year deal, but if Chris Paul decides to leave, James Harden is still there, so you're still not stuck in the same way. So Carmelo exercising those options, right? He needs to sleep. He's driving a long distance drive and he needs to sleep, and his options no longer include a Super 8 motel. He wants that Holiday Inn life. You can't go back to Super 8 after you spend a night in the Holiday Inn. You can't. With your door that opens up directly to the parking lot. You just can't do it. Carmelo Anthony has options now and he refuses. Which is smart. Very, very smart. There's a change of perception when you suddenly have options, right? Cleveland doesn't have options with what to do with Kyrie. Carmelo has options on where he'd like to go, and he would not like to go to Cleveland. He would like no parts of what is happening over there, with the uncertainty, with Dan Gilbert, the owner, who is a crazy person, LeBron James, who could do anything because LeBron James doesn't tell anybody anything, and he hates Dan Gilbert. So probably the thing that LeBron's going to do is to do the thing that destroys Dan Gilbert, which is leave. So there's a strong possibility that could happen. Yeah, Carmelo Anthony, you're not signing up for all of that. You know, and Kyrie, you don't have a no trade clause in your contract. You can't control where you go. You are under contract. They might just bring you back after everything that's happened this offseason. They might just bring you back into the most awkward locker room in the NBA. And I don't think that that's an exaggeration. If Kyrie Irving ends up coming back to training camp before this NBA season, it will be the single most awkward locker room, not just in the NBA, but in NBA history. In NBA history. Because that's why they traded James Harden. The Thunder did. That's why the Lakers traded Shaq. That's a lot of trades that have happened. That's why the Detroit Pistons in the 80s made that trade for Mark Aguirre. Why? Because you had an unhappy member of the basketball team, and you're not trying to have an awkward locker room if you can contend for a title. This might be the single most awkward locker room in NBA history. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. So Donald De La Haye, you may or may not have heard of him. He is a YouTuber. He is an interesting dude. I like him. I think he's a nice young guy. I've seen some of his YouTube videos. Look, it's weird because he is a kicker for the University of Central Florida. And so one of the things about his YouTube channel is that he does like a lot of things with his feet, because the running joke is, I am a kicker. I do everything with my feet. My feet are essentially going to be my livelihood. And he was actually warned by the university that he might be ruled ineligible by the NCAA if he did not demonetize his YouTube channel, because that's one of the things. He has a YouTube channel. He had it monetized, and he was making money from that channel, but also featured very heavily on his YouTube channel is the fact that he is an NCAA kicker, that he is an NCAA athlete. That is the reason why his YouTube channel is interesting. And then you stick around for his personality, because he does have a very good sort of glowing personality. And the NCAA has now officially ruled Donald De La Haye, this kicker from the University of Central Florida, they've officially ruled him ineligible. And that is, to me, one of the most unfair things I've ever heard in my life. That the NCAA is saying, the school can't pay you, which I totally understand why the school can't pay athletes. I think they should. I think the NCAA should figure out a way to make this work, right? Let me start at the top with my stance. I think that schools should pay players. They make billions and billions of dollars. They make billions of dollars for the TV networks. They make lots of money for the athletic department, for the schools, for the conferences that these schools are in. But they don't see a single dime of it. And it's so unfair. And it's so crude that they even have this as an issue, that they have this as a problem, that athletes can't get paid. But I understand why, right? Because we have Title IX. And Title IX says that you've got to pay everyone equally if you're going to pay. So what you pay the football players, you've got to pay the volleyball players, you've got to pay the baseball players, you've got to pay the softball players, even though football makes the most money in most schools. And if not football, then basketball. So this idea that you have to pay everybody equally doesn't make any sense. And where's the money going to come from? Look, I get it. It's a nightmare. It's a logistical headache. But where I have a problem is where guys and women are making money off of their own names, their own likenesses, and being told you can't do that. Donald De La Haye is making money off of the fact that he is an NCAA athlete. He is, right, in his YouTube channel. That's it. That features very prominently as a thing that is involved there. And he has got hundreds of thousands of views. So he is making a decent amount of money from doing that. And he said he is not going to stop his YouTube channel because he's got a base already. He's got a base. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that makes it really, really terrible to me is that, yes, you do feature in a way where the idea that you're an athlete is what's making you money. But the reason why he has so many viewers is because of who he is. Because he is a genuinely fun and interesting person. Right? Like when you look at people who make money on YouTube, and yes, you can make money on YouTube. A lot of people who make money on YouTube, they're just interesting people. They're just fun, cool, interesting people who found a niche and they speak to the fans of that niche, whether that person is playing video games online in a Let's Play, whether that person is reviewing movies or books or music. It's the personality that brings the fans. And basically, the NCAA has said, no, you can't make money off of being you. And that, to me, is a line too far. Because that's something that you can do, that you can allow, and that doesn't violate Title IX at all. If a female athlete wants to do what Donald De La Haye is doing, she can do it. And if she can make as much money as he's making doing it, she can do it. Title IX doesn't play into this at all. There's no reason why an athlete can't make money off of their own name, off of their own likeness. It always annoys me when athletes get into trouble for signing stuff. Right? Like, oh, I'm going to sign this Georgia helmet and I want to sell that for some money. Why can't the guy do that? They're not buying it just because it's a Georgia helmet. They're buying it because of who is signing it. Why can't that guy make money off of his own name? Right? When Todd Gurley got into trouble with that stuff, like that made me mad because it's like, why can't he make money off of his own name? There's only one Todd Gurley that we're looking for, right? There's only one Todd Gurley who, if he signed stuff, you would pay for it. So why does it matter? The NCAA doesn't have to pay anything. It's not costing them money. If anything, it's generating interest in the sport. Why does it matter? Why do they feel the need to come down on student athletes like this? I never understood this except to say this is about power and this is about control. This is about saying that we're the ones that make the money and you're the ones that don't. Right? And football is always about power and control on the field and off it. There's a reason why the power dynamic is set up so lopsidedly in college football. There's a reason why the power dynamic is set up so lopsidedly in college in professional football, in the NFL. Because you don't want these guys becoming bigger than the game. You don't want them to be able to control things. But look how the NBA runs. The players have all the power. Look how college basketball runs. Because you can be one and done, the players have all the power. in the relationship. And you look at college football and you look at the NFL and go, why is it that none of these guys can ever seem to gain any particular kinds of leverage? They play a more brutal game. They play a game that hurts them more. And this to me is just really sad for the NCAA, that this guy, who is, by the way, a marketing major of all things, is actually using the skills that he is learning in college to promote himself and can't make money off of the thing that he is going to college to do. Either you care about the student athlete or you don't. Okay? Calling them student athletes is a cop-out because you don't seem to care about the student side of it at all. You try and toss that student part in there to gain some sympathy, and it's not going to work. People aren't stupid, and everyone can see that this is obviously unfair. And they need to change this. This is wrong. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. In the SEC East, there's really only 2 teams that matter. Who's the smart pick? Florida or Georgia? I've got your answer. Next.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
If you've suffered a personal injury or a loved one was the victim of a wrongful death, give the lawyers at McCoon, Williams, Ashley, and Stanley a call. Our attorneys can help you or your business with a wide array of challenges to provide you with the highest quality legal services through the combination of our talents, experience, and expertise. If you're hit by business problems or need legal organization, we're here to help. Visit MWALawFirm.com. That's MWALawFirm.com. Give us a call at 423-756-6400. That's 756-6400.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Expect a few clouds out there through your nighttime. Not as mild, overnight lows 68 to 70. Now for your midweek, some passing clouds, still mainly dry. Wednesday highs into the upper 80s. Can't rule out a spotty late day shower Thursday with showers and storms more likely Friday. Visit Office Depot and Office Max during their Taking Care of Back to School sale. Notebook filler paper only 1 cent with a $5 minimum purchase. Sale ends this Saturday at Office Depot and Office Max. And I'm Source 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare on Nooga Radio AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. EJ Pelton Company, 332-3339.
I have the best steak selection in town. Name of the business is Don's Meat Shop, and I'm Donnie Raines. Just ask for Donnie. I make over 20 different types of sausages. Most of them are great for grilling. We have the best selection, best quality. We have the hard-to-find items. Don's Meat Shop.
Hi, I'm David Crockett, and I'm here with David Tulis, and we're having a little discussion over who's the number one Nooga centrist. If you want to keep up with free market ideas, then read Nooganomics.com. David Tulis, the blogger with the biggest pen.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Nooga Radio is the station. NoogaRadio.com is the website. And just one quick last thing about the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, because I find it very interesting that Steve Bisciotti is consulting Ray Lewis and consulting fans and consulting sponsors, and to me, I'm one of those guys. And I don't want to hear you talk. Don't talk about it, be about it. If you support a guy, support a guy. If you don't support a guy, don't support him. I'm not trying to tell Steve Bisciotti how to feel, right? Like if Steve Bisciotti thought to himself, Colin Kaepernick's protest made me truly uncomfortable, I don't feel good about it, I would tell Steve Bisciotti, well, then don't sign him. I am not in the business of telling people how to feel. But if you base your decisions on what other people feel, now I think you're being ridiculous. And that's where I think he's being ridiculous. I think he's actually looking for an out. He wants to know if what he's doing is going to be popular or unpopular. And you can't make decisions that way. You can't make decisions trying to figure out what's going to be popular or unpopular, right? It's the thing that we do all the time in our lives that I think is the least healthy thing that we do, that we just edit ourselves constantly and constantly and constantly. We act in a way that we think other people will like. We act in a way that we think makes us look smarter or more attractive or whatever. And then we act in a way that we think, okay, is that person going to like me? Is this person going to like me? All of our social media posts are about ourselves, but never any time in our life where things are going poorly. Almost always when things are going well, unless we want pity, in which case it's exclusively about when things are going poorly. We don't ever post on social media about the average day that we had. I stayed home today. I had cereal pretty late. I watched some tennis. It was a good day. Like you don't post that. Why? Because it's not a high enough high or a low enough low to get you some kind of attention. You're worried about what other people think, and it's silly. It's like the dumbest thing that we do societally. And we did this before social media. I'll acknowledge that. But with social media, it's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. And this is Steve Bisciotti being the physical embodiment of that stupidity, where it's just, well, I don't want to make a decision that makes people mad. I don't know what I should do. I talked to Ray Lewis. We need to talk to sponsors and fans. Pray for me. The man literally said, pray for me. Pray for what? You're not making a life-altering decision? Can the guy start at quarterback or no? What kind of what? No, I'm not praying for you. What are you talking about? What are you, crazy? Like, he's just rambling on, and I'm watching him ramble because he's trying to explain this thing. And I have to talk about, first off, can we address the Ravens and press conferences? Why are you so bad at this? Why is the press conference thing the thing that you are terrible at? Right? Like, did you just call the press conference and then figure out what you were going to say later? Right? Like, he's rambling about, well, I had a problem with the protest, but then he started kneeling, and then I didn't have a problem with the protest, and I think he's cool for doing the protest, but I just want to make sure that it's cool with everybody else, that it's cool with me, that it's cool with them, and I got to figure it. Shut it. Shut it. What are you talking about? And I'm not a guy that's like, I'm not a guy that's going to stand here and be like, no, this is what you should think. Because honestly, I don't care what people think. I care what people do. If you believe something, you'll act accordingly. Which is how I know that Steve Bisciotti on this particular issue doesn't believe anything strongly. He's being very spineless because his behavior is spineless. Because you are consulting people who you would not normally consult. Ray Lewis appeared on Fox Sports 1 the other day. He was on that TV show Undisputed with Shannon and Skip Bailiff. And Shannon was destroying Ray Lewis because Ray Lewis was like, yeah, like this. These are all the things that we need to take into account. And he was standing up for Steve Bisciotti, who is his boy. So I get it. Like, it makes perfect sense why he was being ridiculous in that way, but he's still being ridiculous. And Shannon, I thought, was doing a very, very good job of just saying, look, here are the facts, okay? We have a number of situations where Terrell Suggs got into a situation domestically with his wife. We have a situation where Dante Stallworth hit a pedestrian while driving under the influence. And you didn't consult the fans then, right? You didn't consult the sponsors then. Why? Why? Because there was nothing to be afraid of. Because there was no public perception to be afraid of, right? Like, people have this understanding like, okay, bad stuff happens. People do bad things. But this protest touched a moral code with people now. This isn't just someone doing something bad. This is someone who did something in the eyes of some to be bad and in the eyes of some to be good. And you don't know which way the wind is blowing. So you're trying to ask for help. And you don't get help. This is life. This is the test. You don't get help. You don't get a cheat sheet here. What do you believe? Act on that. Right? Either you believe he was wrong or you believe he was right. I'm not telling you what to do either way, but I'm telling you, act on what you think. Don't ask a bunch of people. Don't poll a room. Don't ask people to pray for you for something. What is this, man? Like, it's not. Your family's not going through a difficult time. I will not pray for you for a decision that you should just make. What do you want to do? Do that. Right? Like, decisiveness. That's what we want in our leadership and in our leaders is decisiveness. We can't function as a society without someone being decisive, with someone stating, this is what I want. Right? Isn't that why it's always annoying when you hang out with your friends and your friends cannot ever decide on what to eat or what movie you're going to watch or where you're going to go? Why is that frustrating? Because you just won't act. Right? Like, you spend more time deliberating over the decision than the acting. You can always come back from a mistake if you feel like after I've made a decision, you know what, I was wrong. As long as you're able to take your pride and put it in a box and admit that you can be wrong. The problem here is that Steve Bisciotti doesn't want to be wrong. And he is asking everybody else. And you can't do that. There's nothing in life that works that way. None. What are you about? Once you know what you're about, don't talk about it, be about it. That's just the way it is. That's life. Right? For me, that's how I live. I make decisions, and I make decisions as quickly as I possibly can once I believe that I have all the information that I need. And then I know what I am about, and I make the according decision. Period. And I do this knowing full well that I can make a wrong decision. I can be wrong. But the thing to me that would be worse than being wrong would be, well, let me ask this person what I should do and ask this person what I should do and I'll ask this person what I should do, when I should just act. When I know what I want. Nothing makes me more upset than when I have a friend who calls me up on the phone and they're talking to me about all these problems that they have and all these decisions that they need to make. And then they ask me for my advice. And I can hear from the way that they're talking, they already know what they want. They just want someone to give them permission to do it. You don't get to ask for permission in life. It's your life. You're in the driver's seat. Drive. Okay? You don't get to ask for permission. Where do you want to go? How do you get there? Go. What are you waiting for? Drive your own life. Steve Bisciotti owns an entire football team. Okay? What he should do is he should talk to his general manager, Ozzie Newsome. He should talk to his head coach, John Harbaugh. And between the three of those guys, decide, can Colin Kaepernick help us or not? Okay? Once those guys decide that he can help you, and that should be obvious that he can help you. Once they decide that, then decide, do I think that he was wrong? Do I think he's going to be a headache? And then make that decision. What are you asking fans and sponsors for? Fans and sponsors don't know anything about anything. They don't know what they want, right? Sponsors only care about the result. If you don't wind up losing money in the process, they don't care. And fans also only care about the result. Like, if you keep winning football games, they don't care. And if Colin Kaepernick can save you for like 4 games, right? That's a quarter of the season. That's a quarter of the season. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Like, I just don't understand the indecisiveness there, right? Because I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm not going to tell you what to believe on certain topics and certain issues, but I will say this. Pick a direction and go. Like, the worst thing you can do as a running back is hesitate on which direction to go. Once you've decided I'm going right, go right. Even if you've picked the wrong direction, go right. Someone might miss an assignment. Someone might miss a tackle. But the worst thing you can do is go right and then go, I should have gone left. Just act. Right? Like, do the necessary research. If you're someone who needs to pray before you make a decision, do that. If you need to look things up, if you want to buy some land, buy some property, do some research on that, do some things of that nature. And then once you have made a decision, take the data that you have acquired, put the data into the machine that tells you where your moral compass is, and then make the decision you want to make. Don't ask a million people for help. It doesn't compute for me. Like, I don't understand it. So we're going to jump to college football here, because I do have a very, very pertinent question, which is that the SEC East is not wide open, right? There's not a bunch of teams that can win it. We can talk about parity in the East all we want to, and there is more parity in the East than there is in the West. And the East is weaker than the West as well. But let's not act like there's a bunch of teams that can win the East. It's Florida or it's Georgia. You have Tennessee and Kentucky sort of waiting in the wings. If any of those teams slip up, they could slide in. But overwhelmingly, when you talk about who's going to win the SEC East, you are choosing between the Gators and the Dogs. And that's about it. Who's going to win it, though? Who's going to win it? Because if you're Florida, you've got to feel like the smart money's on us. We have a good football team. What do? You're returning a bunch of offensive and defensive starters. You're returning guys like Duke Dawson and Antonio Callaway. I mean, you've got a bunch of skilled guys coming back. And to me, that speaks to just the depth that Florida has, which has been their strength ever since Jim McElwain has been there, right? They have been an incredibly deep football team, and that's why they're tough to beat, despite the fact that they have had no quarterback, right? Which now it stands to reason they've got one. They've got Malik Zaire. If Zaire is not working out, Felipe Franks is a very capable young guy. Yes, he would be a true freshman. That would be odd, but he's capable. He would still be on the higher end of quarterbacks that they've had when you consider that they've had to run out guys like Austin Appleby and Caleb Brandt, or not Caleb Brantley, rather, Luke Del Rio. They've had to run out guys like that. Felipe Franks would still be on the higher end of quarterback that Florida has been able to have, right? Which is huge. You're looking at Florida and you're looking at their schedule from last year and all of their results, and there weren't a whole lot of losses where Florida lost games that they really just ought to have won, right? They did have that loss to Arkansas, but again, that wasn't a loss where you were just like, oh yeah, they should have won that one. Arkansas was better, right? They lost to Bama, they lost to Iowa, and they lost to Tennessee. Nowhere on Florida's schedule did they really lose to a team that they should have beat, right? The Tennessee game was close, and you can't feel good about that second half collapse, but there's nothing there about the way Tennessee was playing football in that half of the season that where you were supposed to beat them, right? Again, no one's supposed to beat Bama. They did lose to Iowa pretty badly, but Iowa's good. Iowa's really good. And they lost to Arkansas, who has Austin Allen, who is the truth, as I mentioned frequently. Okay, so again, Florida, never on their schedule the truly disappointing loss. And they did this without a dependable quarterback, right? And they keep winning the East, right? Like back-to-back years. They're trying to make it 3 years, and there's no reason to think that it can't be 3. But I'm one of those people that I'm in the Georgia camp. I'm in the Georgia camp because of the upside conversation, right? We talk about upside and potential. We're talking about who has the higher ceiling. I think Georgia has the higher ceiling, right? Like the people who are saying you ought to pick Florida, which I saw that on SEC Country today. They had a great article about should you be picking Florida to win the East? And you could pick Florida, and it would make perfect sense. They're returning a lot of starters on both sides of the ball. They didn't lose a single game last year that they were supposed to win, right? They didn't have the stupid loss against Missouri or South Carolina or Vandy, or Tennessee would do that. Tennessee loses those games that they really ought to win. Florida didn't have any losses like that. They just played a tough schedule and had no quarterback. But their ceiling is lower. Jacob Eason has an incredibly high ceiling, so that helps propel Georgia, I think. Georgia also returns a bunch of starters, right? They're returning Nick Chubb. Again, they're returning Terry Godwin. They're returning Lorenzo Carter. They're returning Dominique Sanders and Sony Michel. This is a team that has brought back a lot of talent, but they've got a lot of young talent like Jacob Eason. And Trenton Thompson and guys like that. Like they've got a lot of younger talent, right? So you're already looking at a situation where like Georgia has a pretty high upside. The thing is that they are as capable of going low as they are of going high. That Georgia last year lost a bunch of games that they should have won, right? In terms of they show up, the team that you face on the schedule, you ought to be better than, right? They lost to Ole Miss and Tennessee, which are those were going to be tough games for them anyway. If they had lost just those 2 games, they'd have been fine. But I think the loss to Vanderbilt makes no sense. And that game against Nicholls State, where they won, but they won by 2. It was 26-24. They lost as well to Georgia Tech and Kentucky, which those are solid football teams, but you'd have to think that Georgia was talented enough to win those games. And I think that a second year under Kirby Smart, people are going to be expecting more out of Kirby Smart because this roster is simply too talented. It's too talented. The ceiling is just higher for Georgia. I think Georgia is capable of doing a whole lot more than Florida is. But Florida is going to be the more consistent of the 2 teams. That's why Florida won the East last year. That's why they won the East the year before, is consistency. Florida doesn't get too high, but Florida doesn't get too low either. They win the games on their schedule that they're supposed to win, and that's why they're solid. But I'm going to take the upside on this. I'm going to take the fact that I expect Kirby Smart to be a better coach next year. I'm going to take the fact that I expect Jacob Eason to be a more dynamic quarterback next year. I'm going to take the fact that they're returning a bunch of seniors. Dominic Sanders, Malcolm Parrish, Aaron Davis, Natrez Patrick, Davin Bellamy, a bunch of seniors on the defensive side of the ball who are starting for you. I'm going to take all of that stuff into account and go, you know what? This team ought to be really, really good. They've got a solid foundation. And they've got continuity. I like the continuity at the quarterback position. I like the continuity of Jacob Eason progressing from one season to the next, as opposed to, is Malik Zaire our starter? Are we going with Felipe Franks? We don't know. I like the consistency in the base that Georgia has. I think that's the reason why I think Georgia should be the favorite to win the East. Now, are they capable of losing the devastating game that upsets you? Absolutely. I just don't think that they will. Clutch with Keon Rose on AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Thank you so much for listening today. I appreciate you all tuning in. Remember, folks, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch, and I'll see you all in 24 hours.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
Hi, this is Eric Pelton. Taxes, accounting, business advice. I've got a neat brochure, 12 ways to improve your business profits. Come on by for a free consultation and we'll give you a copy. E.J. Pelton Company, 332-3339.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
This is Thomas DeMoss with Keller Williams Realty. I am a realtor in Chattanooga. We list and sell homes, work with buyers, work with home sellers. I have been involved in real estate for over 10 years. My background is as a real estate investor. That is what I bring to the table, is that real estate investor mindset. My job is to help you sell your house for the most money, employing the best marketing strategy and walking you through what can be a rather stressful process. So we are encouraging people who are on the fence or even thought about selling their house to give us a call. There's no obligation. We're just here to kind of have a conversation, let people know what the process is like, what the market is like, what values they can expect to receive. We work with buyers as well. I also have a buyer's agent that works exclusively with my buyers because we want to give our clients as much attention as we can. My cell phone number is 423-364-0028. Our website is northriverpropertygroup.com. That's northriverpropertygroup.com. We'd love for you guys to call us.
And now to our reporter in the field.
We asked Ray at Ray's Plumbing what's important for homeowners to know.
Some field line systems can cost upwards of $10,000. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road. I would definitely recommend everybody with a septic that is not on county or city sewer to have an inspection done by a qualified professional. It'd be great if nobody did inspections on them for all plumbing companies. That's what we do to make a living. Not to scare anyone, but it should be in the back of your mind. The danger is the field lines failing and costing thousands upon thousands of dollars and tearing your yard up. By preventative maintenance, you're saving yourself a large headache that may displace yourself and your family. It happens more often than you think. The waste is designed to stay in the tank, and that waste will build up over time. Even with treatment, we have to help that waste break down. Ultimately, preventative maintenance is the key that will keep you from spending $5,000 to $10,000 on replacing your septic system. The bottom line is to save yourself money down the road.
Call Ray at Ray's Plumbing, 421-6341, 421-6341.
My name is Trevor Atchley. I'm an attorney here with the law firm McCoon, Williams, Atchley, and Stanley. We have a show on Nooga Radio called Legal Bites, where we discuss legal topics of interest to our listeners: estate planning, business formation, and business transactions. Legal Bites, 11 a.m. on Wednesday.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
Hi, this is Nadia behind the green door. You've had ice cream and you've had shaved ice, but have you had snow cream? It is amazing. It's light, airy, fruity snowflakes melting on your tongue. You need to come and see us. Highway 58, green door next to Hardee's.
Does your business have enough clients? Are you confused about how to stand out in today's saturated social media market? Do you feel lost trying to navigate the maze of marketing channels which are necessary in today's marketplace? Are you fed up with spending your time and money on employees who don't perform and marketing strategies that don't produce? Then you need Cindy's Choice. Cindy will solve your marketing problems with their innovative shared marketing management concept that will allow your business to have the benefits of a full-time employee that is actually out building relationships in the community on behalf of your brand. Cindy's low monthly rate includes advertising, employee management, public relations, and creative marketing strategies that produce. Cindy can bring this all to you at a rate lower than most advertising campaigns and for much less than the cost of hiring a marketing employee. Cindy's Choice is your trusted source, and Cindy will manage it all for you.
Hi, I'm Cindy. I focus on the prospects so you can focus on the projects. Call me at 423-661-4445. That's 423-661-4445. So you can become Cindy's Choice.
Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree. Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM, and 95.3 HD4. News, talk, sports. Nooga Radio.
Charge! Get back there, you dang Yankee! Great horny toads, I'm up north. Gotta burn my boots, they touched Yankee soil. Lay down your arms and step forward, Yankee!
What's the hassle, Schmassel?
My orders from General Lee is to hold the Macy-Dixie line, and no Yankees are crossing it.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.